Hey, let's wrap up this beautiful amethyst matrix, and we're going to do a slowed down version tutorial of the figure 8 bale weave. So this is for 18 gauge wires that I'm using, and I am weaving or wrapping with 26 gauge wire. So I wrap once around the right side and then around both sides 5 times. Now I'm going to pull out the back 2 wires of each side to use to make my bale, and then I'm going to get that shape of the bale just how I like it. Make sure it's even and sitting pretty much above the center of where my pendant is going to go. And we're going to start, our wire's already behind, so we're going to take it behind both wires, wrap twice around the bottom wire, and you're going to be in the middle and going behind the wires. Now you're going to wrap twice around the top wire, and again, you'll be in the middle of the wires and facing to the back. You really want to be aware of your tension. Tension is the most important thing when weaving bales. You can get them all sorts of out of whack if your tension's too tight. Again, we're going to go twice around the right side, behind and over the left side twice, and we're going to go back and forth with that. You're basically just laying this weaving wire across the 18 gauge wires. You're not pulling it tight, you're not having to cinch it down, nothing like that. You're laying it where you want it to go. So now that I'm up a little higher, we're going to do that once more together. Around the bottom wire twice, and behind and over the top wire twice. Now you can wrap it twice, you can wrap it 3 times, 4 times, however many times you want. You have to do it at least twice because it secures the wire in place. Now that we're about halfway up, I'm going to use my flat nose pliers and just bend those wires back in. So it kind of mirrors the bottom half of the bale as much as possible. And then where the wires crisscross, I'm going to use those pliers again to bend them back out. It just makes it easier to get the wire in between, the weaving wire in between the two 18 gauge wires. Now this takes practice and getting used to how it's comfortable for you to hold it, but I like using my fingernails back and forth, as you can see, to hold the wire in place on the side that I'm not working on. And now as you're working back up, you can see here I'm showing you pulling too hard. It's going to slide your wires out of place. It's going to push the 18 gauge wires of your bale frame way out of place, and it's just going to make your bale shape look super wonky. So again, not a lot of tension here. What you want to focus on is laying the wire, your weaving wire, across the bale frame wire where you want it. You don't want to pull too tight. You don't want to keep it too loose. You want to make sure the weaving wire is laying flat on your bale frame wire. And then we're just going to keep going back and forth. 2 around the bottom wire, 2 around the top wire, until we get all the way up to the top there where the two 18 gauge wires meet. And while you're watching or maybe weaving along with me, just a reminder, I do have a pinned video right now. We've got a really amazing giveaway going on between 4 of us creators on this app. You can win a lot of amazing goodies from us. So check out that pinned video to see how to enter. There's multiple ways you can enter with all 4 of us, and you can enter multiple times as well. Super cool, super fun. If you're watching this and you're not already, give me a follow, give me a like. And I'd love to hear from you. Was this tutorial helpful? And if you want a tutorial on any of the other weaving styles that you see on some of my pendants, just give me a comment, and I'd love to make a tutorial for you. So again, we're coming closer to the top here, and your weaving wire is always going to end up after the 2 wraps to be in between and facing towards the back of your bale. So in between the 2 18 gauge wires and then facing towards the back. So you're always going to start out going under and over your next bale wire. Under, over, right there. 1, 2, under, over, 1 and 2, under, over, 1, 2, back and forth like that. Now I love when I'm working with smaller wires, so say I did like a 21 gauge for the frame, and then I'm weaving with 28 gauge. I love doing 3 wraps instead of 2. I just feel like it makes it more secure, and I love the look of the design. But totally up to you how many wraps you want to do. Again, you just have to do at least 2 to secure the wire in place. So now that we're getting close to the top here, it can get a little bit more difficult if you had too much tension to get those last final wraps in right there. But once you get high enough to the top, I just use my pliers to kind of push those weaving wires down a little bit, make sure they're nice and snug. And then you want to cut that weaving wire as close as you possibly can to the 18 gauge wires without cutting the wires. And then I just push that weaving wire down, make sure that there's nothing pokey going on there. And then we're going to get rid of that other tail wire down at the bottom as well. Now you can use your pliers to kind of wiggle it back and forth and break it, or you can cut it, which I'm going to cut it here. Either way, and then I tuck that wire up, just making sure again there's nothing pokey going on there. The last thing you want is for someone to purchase your pendant and then they're getting scratched by wire. So you just want to make sure it's nice and smooth there so that nobody's going to get hurt by your pendants. And once that's tucked in there, you now have a completed figure 8 weave bail. So all you got to do is tuck those bail wires in and secure it in place, which I like to bend it right above where I stopped weaving, not right on top of it, because it kind of messes up your weave a little. And then you can use your fingers or these bail making pliers here. I usually use the smallest circle on the bail making pliers, and this one was not bending very well for me, so I got rid of those pliers and just used my fingers so I didn't damage my wire. And then you'll just secure those in place and you're ready to set your stone, and you have a beautiful figure 8 weave bail. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments, and thank you guys for watching.